We have a guest.
Yeah, come on up.
Come on up, Ron.
Come on up.
Pull a chair up. The meeting's in order. We're waiting for our other selectman to show up. He's out trying food, I think.
He's eating?
Because I said you had food in your
I
car.
have food in my car.
You sure he's not out there testing?
Oh, he better not be.
I understand the white crap, but the blue lines confuse me.
Well, I want to go, I'm waiting for Brian. I don't want to go through it
No, I
too
don't
much.
either.
Takes too many words.
That's the floor for,
Yep.
tight quarters in there, isn't it?
Okay. Good morning. Boy, it's all nice weather.
Okay,
By the way, we'll be done by 10 o'clock, and no decision will be made today.
let's go through this real quick. Okay. All right. We'll start with the plans, but I want you guys to understand what these plans are. So, if you look at the white lines here, there's a legend up here. It says new joist, existing joist is EJ, Southern Yellow Pine is abbreviation for is SYP. These white lines here, the white spots where it's contiguous right through, those are the existing beams, and these are the measurements for all the existing beams. Incidentally, this is the foundation repair and the recommendation for how that should get done. The blue lines, the dark blue lines are the new floor joists. So looking down, this is a space. Anything between this and the dark blue lines are spaces in the floor unit. And these would be the new floor joists that give us the appropriate loading. And over here, these are the existing beams. If you were to take this place here, this is BB here, you were to slice through the floor and look at it this way from that position, eye level, you would see this. And these particular hangers and these particular joists and how they're set up. This isn't, and you look at these at your own leisure, but you'll understand what it is. This is a section view of a new joist. This behind there is the existing beam that they're tied into. Those piers underneath, and I didn't illustrate them right, 6 feet on center, they're adequate for the 8x9 beam that's there. This is a sectional view from this direction, A. Cut the building in half here and look this way, you're going to see this. These are the cut lines. I didn't want to draw the whole length of it all the way out. So, and these 3 blocks in here, this side is an 8x8, that's the side toward the maintenance building. This is the side toward the parking lot where the foundation is bowed, which is here. These 3 blocks, which are indicated by these 3, are fillings on top of the foundation. And how they're supposed to be fastened is all illustrated here.
To be added by, they're not there now.
They're not there now.
And my understanding is they have to be put into, for the hangers to work.
That's correct. Yeah, and you really can't cut the 2x10 down to rest it on the foundation. And you don't want to do it anyway. And the foundation's got to be reinforced and redone. And that should be done with a structural high-fill epoxy. DevCon makes one, and a bunch of companies do, and I've got recommendations. They work better than mortar, so, and they have the same tensile strength and compression strength, better actually.
Just a real quick aside, is that, when you put that in, do you have to have a fan or something for, is it bad to breathe?
No, it's low VOC, everything is today. Okay. Now, again, I don't care how the electricity is done in this place, this is a baseline. Somebody comes and gives you a price, or giving you a price on electrical based on this. If you move lights around and change positions, it's usually irrelevant, it's not going to change the money end of it. This one is wired with a switch. These 3 are wired separately, switch here in 2 places, and the reason for that is if you're doing a walk-through, you don't need to light up the whole place. And these 6 will be switched independently. They can all be put on dimmers, that's your call. But this is the walk-through light that you need. If somebody just wants to come in and go out this way, they've got these 3 lights over the traffic area. This is the lab that already exists. This is handicapped. This fits the bill. It goes in the handicap access, the ADA handbook. And there's more to that on the back page. But anyway, and the wiring is indicated here. So that's the legend as to what lights are what. This is the utility room, and there's a reason why it's here. And I'll tell you my recommendations for this. They make 96% efficient fire furnaces today, very inexpensively, $1,000, $1,200, depending on which one you buy. Or even less if you buy them on sale. And I wouldn't use any of the existing ductwork under the old town hall. That stuff is not state-of-the-art. It will probably cost you $3,000, $4,000 to have somebody run all new ductwork. What's down there is an inadequately insulated full mice, and all the peripheral ducts that are around the outside of the townhouse are covered with insulation, so they don't work anyway. What I would do is put a heater here and another heater up in Virginia's office, and they're small. They're this big by this big, 50,000 BTU by this high. I put two of them in, one on each end, and with one blower into the town hall, I could heat that place up in 5 to 10 minutes and shut it down, and they're also modulating. They'll run at low temps. They have high temp and low temp. I'll explain that at some other point. We don't need to go there, but that's what I would do. I put one here in the center and one up where Virginia's old office is, and you can heat that building very inexpensively. If you run ductwork, it's not going to be as inexpensive.
Can this one also heat this room?
No.
So you're suggesting when you talk about those two heaters, just something through the wall or something,
Just something through the wall.
so you don't have the ductwork or anything underneath?
No ductwork underneath whatsoever. Don't need it.
Understand? Just want to
I
understand.
mean, why spend all that money putting $3,000 worth of ductwork under there when you can put a heating unit on both ends and actually get better heat because of that? Now, this, in theory, you could size this up to 70,000 BTU and heat this too, or 60,000. However, what you're doing is you're running this unit and pumping heat into here just to get this warm, which just doesn't make an awful lot of sense. You could size it up, put another duct over the top, down the wall, and out. But now you're running a unit that's oversized to heat a little space. I mean, it's just not efficient. It's my point. You can do it. I'm not telling anybody what they should do, but I can give you the dollars and cents later on as to why that won't work and how much it will cost extra to run. Because you'll probably be heating this more often than a big building. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. We don't use it that much, either one of them in the winter.
Are the furnaces by oil?
No,
Okay.
Gas.
They by gas, okay.
Propane. Oh, yeah. No, okay. This here is what I would do with the handicap ramp. This is what exists. It's inadequate, 4 feet. I'd go to 5'2", cut the post down, put a girder there, and extend the ramp, or the platform. I wouldn't mess with the ramp. The ramp is 2 feet short of being code in terms of maximum allowable length. It's grandfathered. I don't think you need to change. They say no more than 30 feet in one run, 1 and 12 pitch, 1 inch and 12 rise is all you're allowed. And that meets that. But it's, instead of 30 feet, it's 32 feet. You want to change it, then from the back you would come this way and probably another platform here and run back this way if you wanted to make it less than 30 feet. That again is you guys are going to make the call, but this is the new ramp, comes down here, it goes 8 feet beyond this. And this is 25.6, and 8 feet beyond it is 33 feet almost.
And you made that bigger just for turning radius.
Yeah, that's a legal requirement, 5 feet, there's only 4 feet out there now, I'd make that 5 feet. And maybe redo the boards on this at the same time. And this is, the width is fine, but the length, just the new standards, the old standards didn't have that. You could run 32 feet, but now they want a rest platform every 30 feet or less. And I'm saying that it depends on how you want to treat that. Okay.
Is that a hard ceiling?
No, it's Homasote, it's junk, it's all got to come
No, I
down.
mean, the new ceiling, would that be a hard ceiling?
Yeah.
I have a question here with the window. This thing shows the window on this
Okay.
wall here, and this one shows the wall.
Okay, yeah, I'll explain that. To make the 8'6" is the minimum for the ADA bathroom. I made it 9 feet simply so you can keep the window inside the bathroom. The way it's set up now, we can look at that when I go over there, it's outside the utility room. I move it here, it's now in the bathroom. If you want an ADA bathroom, I mean, you can put the bathroom anywhere you want out here, but it's just gonna cost more money. I just don't see any reason to do that, but there again, it's your call. At least somebody's gonna price something based on a set of plans and come up with a hard price. If you move it and they say it's gonna cost more to do that, then you get at least a baseline to move from. This is just the door and window schedule, which tells what all the doors and windows are and have to be. We're gonna talk about the windows and go over that. I'm gonna spend a lot of time here this morning, but anyway. Okay. This is one of the things I want you guys to look at. What's up in that attic is woefully inadequate. I mean, to the point where that entire ceiling is hung on 1x7s. Rough sawn, old lumber, 1x7s, and there's only 8 of them on each side. The whole thing is hung on 1x7 and nails. Didn't use the screws back then. So there isn't a single truss in it that's really a truss. It's kind of a miracle that sooner or later that will come down. It's just when. With a heavy and wet enough snow, and I can show you that because the existing rafters up here are small. There's nothing bracing the middle of them, and the entire roof has bellied down like this. If you stand outside and look, you can see it. Sooner or later, it's a failure. Who knows what day, but it is. And it can be really fixed by doing this. And it's allowable to do field trusses in a situation where you can't rip the roof off and replace a manufactured truss. And this would be the configuration. The specifications on how they should be put together are here. And I can explain that in detail later, but this is what it looks like in an isometric view. So if anybody has any questions, they can look at the isometric view and figure out just what's involved with it. In other words, the existing ceiling beams are underneath all the rafters. They're approximately 30 inches apart, which is, it is what it is. It's an old building. There are ceiling beams that run all the way across the old hand-hewn beams. Some of them are this big, some of them are this big. They run the whole span of the building side to side, and they're sagging. That's why the ceiling's all over the place. And there's nothing to hold them up, except these 1x6s that are up there, these old rough sawn 1x6s. That's why this really, if you're going to spend any money on that building, this needs to be corrected, because sooner or later it's a goner. And it's into that cost analysis I gave you, the roof, framing, etc. Anyway, what that would do if you do it this way, and you never know till you get into it, what you're going to find pulling that Homasote down, but this will more than likely be the exact way it will work if you want to see the exposed beams, which a lot of old houses have around. You saw them in my house the other day. Same thing. You'd expose the beams, sheetrock between them. The bottom chord of the truss would be at the top of the beam underneath. That's the beam underneath. These are the beams on the side, and they'll be exposed, the edge of it, into the room. Those walls in there, by the way, are Homasote. There's no plaster on any of those walls. We had all that discussion for all that time about not wanting to go and wreck the plaster on the walls. It came down when they moved it. I didn't realize it then. When I went to the building, it's all Homasote. We'll look at that. So those walls might have come down to facilitate all the work anyway, because it's just junk. So, anyway, all the insulation and the strapping, everything would be above the beams, which would be exposed, and that's this beam here. With sheetrock in between them, with whatever kind of finish you want to put on it, and that will increase the ceiling height by 8 inches, give or take. It's already 8 feet 4 inches, so it'll be close to 9 feet ceiling height in that back building from finished floor to ceiling. And then this would all be upstairs, okay?
This design came from you or from?
That's from me. That's a HOWE truss. It's a standard in the industry. A HOWE truss can be used to spans up to 36 feet. This is a 26-foot span. It's more than adequate. HOWE. It's the inventor of the truss. But you can't use truss plates because they have to be put on with a mechanical fastener and rollers in a truss factory. You can't do it. You could never do it in this particular application. You have to do field fabs, this was all legal up until a few years ago when too many carpenters, probably 1998 or 2000, somewhere around there, people were making them in the field inadequately. So they stopped it and said, no, it's all got to be manufactured. However, this existing building, this does nothing but enhances and strengthens the roof times 10.
Okay, and you'd put one of these here.
Yeah, everywhere along here, if you see, it's like you see it here. Now, here, it's on both sides, but what's going to happen is the existing rafters are there and they're inadequate. You're going to sister up another 2x6 alongside of it. First thing that we're going to do is jack that roof up as straight as possible. The big belly in it, take it out.
What's that going to do to the shingles?
Huh?
What's that do to the shingles?
Doesn't do anything really. You're gradually pushing up the sheathing. You're going to push up the rafters that are there. The existing rafters, you're going to jack them up, put the new cord in. The bottom cord will be all the way across. You push the roof, you may not get it all the way up. We'll take a look at it when you go out there. But you just jack it up with a floor jack to get as much of the belly out as you can before you fabricate the new truss. It's not going to push the shingles off because you're not going to be doing any of that. You're just simply going to be pushing up these rafters to take some of the belly out. Therein lies the structural deficit of the roof, the fact that they're sagging, and they only sag so far before they reach shear, and the roof comes down. I mean, I don't know where Samon Falls came up with this is adequate or well done. I brought a light and an extension cord and a ladder so you can all get up there and take a look at how inadequate this is, because it really is. I wouldn't trust it forever. I mean, we're lucky so far, but
Okay.
anyway, that's the roof. Okay. Handicap, ADA requirements, shower. I've got recommendations on which showers to use. I mean, I went and looked them up and the
Yeah,
price.
do I assume that this bathroom could also, if it decides to go up front, a bathroom like this could go up front? And Virginia's don't want this.
I would imagine you could fit one up there, sure.
It looks like 9 by 9.
It would cost you more to bring it up front than it would have been in the back. The soil pipe exits in the back, you're going to be run. You might not have adequate pitch either. I don't know. To get from front to rear, you're going to have a soil pipe somewhere down along by the soil by the time you get from the rear of the front of the building to the rear where the soil pipe exits. So, to be honest with you, I haven't figured that one out. But you probably could, and you could always pump it. But it will cost more to go up in front because the framing is the cheapest part of the whole thing. Studs and sheetrock. You're going to have to re-sheetrock the room anyway. You're going to run all your plumbing up there. It's already sitting back here. You're going to have to run all this plumbing from there to get over to this bathroom in a fashion that you're going to have to make sure doesn't freeze in the winter. So everything's going to have to be pitched adequately so the pipes drain every time you shut the building off. Whereas over here, if you look at, there already is an issue when you have a pipe coming in. And the pipe coming in is subject to temperature variables, but the water to the kitchen is supplied above the finished floor in the townhouse along the wall. I'm sure you've all seen that. Okay. This here should be plastic, and plastic doesn't break when it freezes.
What is this?
Huh?
What is this?
Okay, this is a piping diagram, and if you were to take and make a sectional cut of the building, right here, okay, this is CC. If you were to look at, if you were to stand right here, take this particular wall out, right across here, and look at the building this way, it shows the piping. This is the piping diagram. All the pipes are above the ceiling and on interior walls. So there's no more piping coming up through floors, no more piping in exterior walls. So, and it's all self-contained in the schoolhouse, which is cheaper and easier to heat, especially being with the new super insulation. So it keeps the potential for what just happened over there last year at a minimum. I mean, not to say that and I would do this in PEX anyway, because PEX doesn't break when it freezes. I wouldn't put copper in a house anymore because of the ability to resist freezing that PEX has. So, I mean, that's just pretty much it.
What is this?
Okay, that's hot water. I recommend a Takagi hot water heater over the Rinnais. They're more efficient, they're better, and they're a little less expensive because they're not buying the advertising Rinnai does. Takagi. They're very good. Takagi T1K4, that's on the other page. This is just the water storage.
Oh, that's the tank.
Yeah.
The blue tank.
Yep, that's blue tank.
The schoolhouse, how is that going to be heated?
Well, I have another page. I have a Rinnai over here. I put a Rinnai there because it's the most efficient way, unless you buy a real expensive system with modulating boiler or modulating furnace. They're pricey. Where you can turn, where it will modulate itself down to just heat a small space without running at 100%. Because that's what you want to do. If you run something at 100%, that size for the whole place, even when you're heating a small place, it runs at 100%. And whenever the demand calls it to come on, it comes on.
Could that be vented in the chimney that's already been there? Is that what that?
No, you're not with gas. You're not supposed to unless you run a pipe all the way up through the chimney.
Well, I'm thinking of Mary Lou who's not happy with holes in the wall.
Well, you got giant holes in the wall in the front where all the LV connectors for the electrical are. You got pipes running across the front of the townhouse. This is a thing this big with a hole in it that takes out. Yeah. It's the same thing. And here, this is an illustration of what that would be. Go back to the heat thing. All right. Look at this. This page, more than that page before. Yeah, there's the page before. All right. Okay. Or the page before. No, maybe not. Maybe.
Maybe we can turn it around so you can see it.
No, it's all right. I should be familiar with it at this point, huh? Who's back here? All right, over the top of the ceiling, right here, right in front of me. All right, it's a 2-inch B vent is all this is. It's 4 inches actually if you're going to pull outside combustion air in, which is what I would do. What these do is pump pipe up, out, and they come out right over here. And they run across the ceiling. The ceiling is dropped to 8 feet for the bathroom, the 2 bathrooms, and not the utility room is not necessary. So it gives you 6 inches inside to run these pipes. They're very low temperature exhaust. They're made out of plastic. That's how efficient these 96% boilers are in efficiency. So this pipe runs out here. It comes out maybe 8 feet up on the wall. It's a thing this big by that deep, and there'll be 2 of them. One for the on-demand hot water heater, which means we no longer store hot water. And it gives you unlimited hot water when you need it for the needs here. If you had a
How are these places kept warm? The bathrooms?
okay, with whatever with the Rinnai, the door's going to stay open. The temperature in here will stay wherever you keep it in with the super insulation. Somebody goes in to use the bathroom. Now, if you want to put a heat fan light in there, you can do that, but those are pricey. They require a dedicated circuit. I've got a fan light in here, but if you want to run a heat fan light, you can do that. I mean, that's going to be your call. If this is 68 degrees, this is going to be 68 degrees. And this is an emergency shelter, not Howard Johnson. So it depends on what you want to do. No, I mean, this could be 70 degrees in here, and that temperature will be transferred into here with no problem. The door is left open unless it's in use, if you want. Otherwise, you can put a heater in here. You can put an electric heater, you can put a baseboard heater here. There's any number of ways. I didn't put one in here, but there's no real need for it, although it depends. If somebody wants it to be 92 degrees in there, if they have to take a shower, then maybe a heater would be in order.
Meter, put money into
Yeah. Not very expensive heat.
Ceramic heater.
If you put a ceiling fan light heater, it needs a dedicated circuit, and those things are probably about 150 more than just a fan light. So it'd be 150 plus the running of a dedicated circuit because they draw a lot of amperage or wattage. So,
From your expertise, do you see any issues?
I've installed those, but I found that in a public place, people have a tendency to turn all there used to be 3 buttons, light, fan, and heat. And they could turn them all on and leave them on. It wasn't thermostatically controlled. Today, I'm not conversant with what's available, so I can't say. On the electric over here, that's going to include the smoke detector and the.
No, you have to.
Yeah.
Smoke, CO2,
And exit.
carbon monoxide, yeah.
And those be tied into the generator.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be hard
One
wired.
of the things you probably know about, I found out the other day that Rinnai's had to be on an outside wall previously. Now, I think, is it 15 feet you're allowed?
It depends on the unit and the volume.
Yeah.
So that's what it's, how many BTUs. This doesn't require the, 120,000 BTU water heater, because you're not gonna need 12 gallons a minute.
I'm talking about general heat, Rinnai.
These guys here?
I was in the
No, they can go up and have a vertical, or horizontal run of 15 feet, that unit.
Yeah.
This one, here, this Takagi, this is gonna run less than 15 anyway, because it's less than 15 feet to the center of the building, so that's well within code requirements, and it's okay above a window, it's not okay below a window.
Well, I was considering replacing my old furnace with individual Rinnais, and I was concerned I couldn't get them all on the outside wall.
You got the System 2000
No, I don't.
on your house?
That, I had up the old.
Oh, on the old house?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
But I have one Rinnai, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
So I was
they
considering
work.
when replacing the old hot air furnace, I'd go to Rinnai's, one in each room. So
That's what's
the
here.
venting was a problem back then because it had to be on an outside wall. Now I understand you can have 15 feet run, so,
You can.
yeah. And then
So, anyway, I'm going to cut you short, but these guys got to go, and I want to take them over there. This stuff here, now, we went through this. You look at it, you got any questions, I'll get right into it with you at any time, but I wanted you to understand what this is all about before I just gave them to you.
Okay, good.
Okay, let's run over there.
Everybody's asking about the taxes, so make sure that we get our taxes out. Because one year we didn't get them out on time, and the money came in the following year.
Yes.
Boy, did that screw up everything.
Absolutely.
Huh? These walls are,
I'm sorry. Okay, we're on here. You're doing a good job keeping us on time.
yeah, I'm done with front hall right now. Oops. We'll just look, I'll be back in a while. Okay, bye. All right, these walls, no plaster. Homasote, same stuff as on the ceiling. Junk. So replacing it with something else will be better than Homasote no matter what. And all the interior trim on these windows, well, it's been redone with modern, this is doorstop actually. But, okay, there's an issue here. See the way these sills are tipped? I would not put replacement windows in these openings because the sills tipped down. I have no idea what you're going to find when you get in here. Anything that's screwed up, you can fix. Framing lumber is cheap. It's part of the insulation. I would put new construction windows in these windows. Take the molding off the outside of the window, put the new construction window in, put new molding, won't look any different outside than it did before, because it's simply 1x5 out there, and paint it, and now you've got new construction windows, better insulated. Replacement windows inherently aren't as good as new construction windows anyway, because they're harder to insulate the way they work out when you install them. I'm not going to go into that detail because we don't have a limited amount of time, but these sills are tipped down. There's no knowing when you pull this window out, what's going to be under there. Could be rotten wood, might not be rotten wood. It's pretty simple to change.
So what do we do with the slope?
Well, you're gonna
Lift it
build it up to. First off, you look. The windows are at different heights anyway. If you notice that window and that window, I make them all the same height. It requires a little bit of work outside, not terribly much. But the point is, why have a window 1.5 inches higher there than the other two windows? I mean, if you want to keep it exactly the same, keep it exactly the same. The point is, I'd get rid of the slope. The windows would be at this elevation now instead of set down in the way they are, because it's not the greatest thing. A new construction window doesn't look any different. It's better than a replacement window, actually. You just want to put as much trim to hide the fact that it's a replacement. Anyway, I made recommendations there, but whatever the town does, I mean, there's other people involved. I just put something down for baseline pricing. Anyway, I want you guys to go and look at this thing. Understand what's up there and why this really needs to be done. And it's not going to be, you don't have to go up there. I'll just stick your head in. All you got to do. I'm not going to drag you underneath. All the stuff I told you about underneath is the truth. The oil lines and everything, the ductwork has to be stripped out. I've been up inside this thing a bunch of times, so. I've been up there. I don't want to go back. Huh?
I believe it.
Okay. I'm going to put this light up here. Now, there's no true trusses here except in a couple of places. You stick your head up and you can see it. And all those truss members are 1x8s. If you just stick your head up there, you can see it. I'm not going to drag you up there. And the ceiling beams are tiny. They're inadequate. If you look at them, they're just little 3x3s. 3x4s, some of them, I mean, they're a hodgepodge. That's why the outside roof goes like this with the belly. It's just, and there's just not much up there. This whole ceiling is hung on those, you see up there, Brian?
Yeah.
Those 1x7s?
Yeah.
With a few nails?
Yeah.
This whole place is hung on the ridge, which is only supported by a 1x7 that actually comes down here at an angle, halfway and half. I mean, it's just, sooner or later, it's a failure. It just has to happen. Okay. This can be fixed so that it never fails ever again as long as you keep shingles on the roof. But it's just not much to this roof. It can all be fixed. The framing lumber, under $1,000 to do all this, way under. It's way more labor intensive.
I like this one over here.
Yeah, there's some stuff up there. It really is.
See? That's where it's going on. We're in the trick.
That's why the whole thing is all over the place. It doesn't have to be.
Camera going up there. It's a wonder the building survived the move.
Yeah, it is a wonder. See all this here? These are the sagging beams that are unsupported. They go all the way across. Once you put a truss in, these beams are not heavy in themselves. You can take the beam and hook it up to the bottom part of the truss, and now it's a nice straight exposed hand-hewn beam.
Is this just like a heat yard?
It looks like they put a new roof on when they moved it. It looks like they put a new roof on when they, this old beam must have been the pitch.
Yes.
That's what I think too.
Yes.
That
So
middle
that-
one is the original roof,
Yes.
then they went up higher and they got
And they did it with just,
Yeah, what they
back in
had.
1950 there were no building inspectors or anything. We go out and take a picture.
That was the old roof. Like,
That's what I saw there, I said, that's the original, that old
Yeah.
huge
they had a
timbers.
lock going up.
I'll view as the,
All right.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
You're looking at a big old beam.
Yeah, there's stuff up there. Once this is all stripped out of here, it's very easy to repair all this stuff.
One question. Hard ceiling versus thinking this building may be used for different purposes in the future, office space or Liverpool. On the ceiling, more versatility for lighting and
Well, yes, a lot more money, but.
it is more money?
Oh, sure, then sheetrock. Yeah. Oh, yeah, way more money, but depends on what you buy. There's cheap Junko stuff you can buy cheaper, but not as cheap as sheetrock. The only thing that I say is no matter what, you'll still always be able to, now you're gonna have adequate support, you can walk around up there. If somebody has to get up there and run wiring later. It'll all be accessible, and it'll be accessible from the utility room, where the sub panel will be on the back of the utility room. There's another thing. You might envision this here. That's the existing wall. The new wall for the bathroom will be out to here, which is not very far, and ultimately it doesn't do much to the space. You know, we're not cannibalizing so much of the building that this, just about where I'm standing actually will be the wall. You still got, you know, you're losing a couple of feet, but it's still.
What are you gonna do? What do you recommend with that chimney up there? Looks like it's coming apart.
Oh,
Just leave the bottom and take the top down?
well,
Well, you can see from here where the mortar, just the bricks are loose. It's going, right? Oh, it doesn't even go through anymore.
no,
It doesn't go through
it
anymore.
doesn't go through. That should go.
Yeah. If you want, we can leave this, I guess, for whatever, but that's not even used.
Well, yeah, I would take the chimney out as part of demolition. I mean, it doesn't have any value. I wouldn't. It probably hasn't got.
I have lit up the mirror issue.
Well,
And
and
if nothing else, the wood stove needs to be back here rather than in the middle of the room.
well, it hasn't got a good flue.
No,
no,
just for looks.
No.
Just
I mean, I wouldn't gamble on the flue of that thing.
No.
Unless you went up there and you put a liner in it and run it right back through the outside of the roof again if you wanted to do
Don't have to
it.
use it, don't have to use it. Right, you don't have to use that. It looks good.
You don't want to use it if you put a Rinnai back, no matter what heating system you put here, you don't want to use that.
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
Good, I didn't even notice that. That's what we do. I didn't even turn around to see what was in the back.
It's old, right? It's going hard.
I mean, there's only 6 trusses on each side if you go up there and count them. I mean, for a 40-foot building, but I mean,
Well, it's nasty because they changed the pitch on it. If they didn't change the pitch, it would have been better.
It's a 15 or 16 pitch. It's
Way,
really
yeah.
the blackboards can all go back on top of the new walls when they're
I mean,
done.
these can get junk, and these are.
I'm not gonna, that's not up to me. I'm just saying that there could be an argument about that, and I'm saying we could take them off, or somebody
Yeah,
can take
these are
them off.
garbage, they're all bowed and shit. We could just have to build new ones and just,
Whatever you do, they can be placed, put back.
they're just garbage.
But there is no more issue about the old plaster now, that's gone.
Oh.
You want it.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
We spent so many hours talking about that.
Excuse me.
Well,
I get that. That's easy enough to deal with that.
all right. Is that it?
Pretty much.
Why would we not, would we want to keep a little zigzag here, or would we want to go straight across?
Whatever we want, right? Storage.
Well, you guys can work.
Yeah, that's okay, yeah.
We gotta work with them because the idea.
I
that
just
we
gave you a
change-
set of plans, you can get a price on everything you want to get here based on the plans, and any changes you make cost more or less, depending on what you do. At least, those decisions can be made at any time down the
We're
road.
changing the floor plan, so we have to work with them. We're gonna cut into this, that. So that's not a done deal. We
Sure,
gotta wait them through.
If you make this bathroom bigger to match this wall lines here, you'll probably just have this window and the little window in the bathroom. That will probably just make it inside the bathroom.
That's historical. We have to take our battles.
I understand.
Any questions by anybody, Ed? Ron?
I'm not leaving town, but you've been through this, and at the selectmen's meeting now, if you want to talk about this, you've got a good, solid thing in your head about
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Good, thank you very much, Eric. We appreciate that. All right, no decisions are going to be made today, will be made, anything we need to.
No, we have nothing, we're working on the foundation in the,
We've already
in
made
the floor.
that.
That's what we gotta get done
And
first.
taxing, what are we going to do about
We need
the...
to go over.
We have to go and
And we're
print
gonna
it
have
out.
to print it out, so if we can.
Do it right now.
Kinda,
You wanna go with
so we
that?
time out, what do you
And we've
think?
got to figure out who's building the building, who's scratching the floor.
That's not good.
That's a mess. I've been on that.
Nobody.
Nailed it. Maybe it'll wash out.
Yeah, I got another one in the house. Just so when my wood on somebody kicks on.
We really need to get this refinished anyway, to match.
Just, I think it
we do one a year.
What's the plastic tables are
Plastic ones.
They're light,
they clean and they're light and,
From, you know, the DJs and places like
yeah,
that.
it's like 40, 50 bucks a pop and.
I mean, those things are so heavy, you kill
Those
yourself.
things
When I dress, when people are killing the floor.
Right in the store, you can see it right there.
Yeah, they're killing the floor.
We have the,
See, I put a heater here, one heater here, one heater there, you'll heat this place up in 10 minutes and it'll cost nothing to install, cheap. I bet you can put the 2 heaters in for $5,000 to $6,000. Brand new state-of-the-art technology, this stuff is great, 96% efficient. I got a bunch of them. I can give you that information. And they can both be run at low temp, which is nice, so if you have a meeting with it, it's cool, it's not freezing, and you want to bring this up to 65 degrees, you can bring it up and do it cheap. You can run it for 10 minutes to get it from 0 or whatever it is, from 30 degrees. It'll get up and then they modulate down, even these new ones are 2-stage burners so that they don't run at full blast and then have a turn off time. That's what happens. They run full blast, shut off, run full blast, shut off. The 2-stage ones cycle down and they're very quiet. They wouldn't blow the town meeting apart or anything going. That's what I would do.
See what the mailman said.
Those are cold air returns.
Yeah, that would get rid of those.
Well, you're gonna need one.
I'm gonna go read the mail.
They're
Gonna stay here for a second. I'm just gonna check our mail. Did you see the tree on the shed?
Oh, no, you did email it.
Oh,
Too bad it didn't take the whole.
I hear you. I saw it there.
Is there a tree fall down or something? Oh, I think you said the salt shed. That's why I was like,
The old salt shed.
the old salt shed.
Oh,
Oh,
see it.
I thought you meant the new one.
See, I just made chainsaw and saw that, trying to get it. Oh, well.
Is it a pilot?
Oh, I don't see that.
We gotta go around. It's the old salt. Yeah, very well. Get in, but that's. No, somebody will open it. Well, not, we lucked out on that one.
No, it didn't do anything. It must have went down slow. Oh, well, it's okay.
May have poked a hole somewhere, but. Probably not. I think it was so old and rotten that it's just probably shattered.
It probably went down slow and you flew over the top of it.
Dented the roof maybe a little bit.
Got a couple passes on it. I didn't see that.
We can use some of this to buy down the tax rate. Traditionally, we've left it somewhere between 5 and 8%. At one point, we're up to 10%. And that we're required 5, and it's very important that we have that set aside for, to be able to bring it down another year. We can leave it as it is and build it up. There are different options which we'll have to decide on Tuesday.
Well, I didn't read the mail. We have to have an appointment with Jean?
Right.
yeah, I told her that you would just email back and ask for a date, time. You don't have to meet with her. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is sign this. But if you have questions, and generally some towns do have questions for her, then she'll just meet with you on the phone.
Yeah.
As this is, it's this past year, it's $17.14. Using the figures they have here, it would be $16.64. So that would be a decrease in the tax rate, and it has its little calculator out. So it was 17.14, and the new number is 16.64.
That's the,
65. You
Well,
want-
you're
you
rounding it
want to
up.
round
Okay,
that's the preliminary.
Preliminary.
that is correct.
Unofficial.
So you see up top where he talks, right in the center, they talk about this
Did you
approximate.
get one in?
No, I didn't. Approximate
Yeah,
5%
Don't pass it out, please, or
retained,
don't put it on
Yeah.
the internet,
8%,
No.
10%
Not
no.
yet.
you can say.
because it's just going to drive people. Wait till next week.
So that's what our retained is. The big reduction is the school board.
Right.
Big
That
book.
could be enrollment,
That's
strictly
it.
enrollment based, not what they spend.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
And they did not get the school rate until Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
And that's why we couldn't have a date anytime until that came through. That was the last one they were waiting for, so.
See, they have amount retained, they have 256,000 that we're retaining. If we did at 5%, we'd have 96,000, 8%, 154, 10%, 193,
Where do you see the
in
mountain?
the center,
It's,
top center.
underneath the gray box.
Oh, okay.
So if we just wanted to keep it at 10, we want to go to 10%, then we could put more money toward it, which could bring it
And we're
up.
currently at 5,
We were at 8.5 last year.
8.5.
But what happened is we didn't spend all the money, so the retained went up.
Right.
Retained because we didn't spend it, right?
Right.
Because that's way up there.
And what we need to do is we need to keep that as high as we potentially can, because there are going to be years that we have to tap into that.
Yeah,
And,
we're unpaid tax.
And it looks good this year. Oh, wow, look, we'll save tax money. But a couple years down the line, they're going to say, whoa, I wish we put some of that in the bank.
Right.
The last number I got from Diana on uncollected taxes was 186.
And this may be part of that.
This maybe,
I think
Yeah, she's already sent that in, didn't
that's, considered as part of this number. I think, we'll have to double check.
She takes the numbers from the MS4, so if it's on the MS4, that's how she
Right.
comes up with
Yeah,
all
and
this.
Diane gives that number to that, right?
Well, I don't know, because.
We don't have $256,000 sitting in our account. This is
Abs-
money owed to us,
Yeah.
money anticipated, that type of stuff.
yes.
So, it's,
Okay. We'll have to look at the other email. What does she want us to do, Jessica? Set a date and
We
time?
need to set a date and time, so if you guys can figure that out. How do we do a conference call with Clifton Nash?
we did it in there. I don't know if we have the speakerphone.
Yeah, but how is it tapped in with Jeannie?
We just called her at the office, wherever she went. We just spoke back and forth.
And then Clifton called in?
I don't know if we called her. We
That's
have to
what I
call
was
them.
wondering how
Okay,
that works,
ask
'cause
her.
Brian wants.
Yeah, I'll get work, I'll just call in,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, because it'll be a three-way conference rather than just the two of us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll have to work that out. We'll never arrange for one.
I'm sure she has the capability on her end. Okay.
Let's hope so for our taxes.
What does at-war service credits mean?
I was looking at that too, and I was gonna ask, is that,
Or add
I assume,
is that a veteran?
I imagine that's a
I would
veterans.
think so.
Yeah,
do they calculate how many veterans are in the town and then they give you a credit for it?
Yeah, we have a stipulated credit of, well, what is our credit as of now?
it's so much per,
It's 100, right?
Per veteran,
In the max 500, but we stick at 100, right?
yes.
Right. Other towns at 50,
The
some
town
give the full
voted in
500.
100,
And
correct.
so we have 100, so we have 86 veterans that are collecting the credit.
right, which
I
lowers.
have to look, I know we have quite a few.
I was gonna say, I thought we had quite a few, so that would be 86, okay.
And I don't know if somebody is on disability, if their taxes are lower, if that is reflected in that too.
Oh, I
That's a
see.
question, if they're a war, or they're injured in the war and they pay, get a bigger
Yeah,
deduction.
like the injured veterans discount.
Yeah, they do get more.
Disabled veteran.
Yeah. So I think that would fit.
And that education grant, well, what's the education grant? Is that state or federal appropriated money that we get somehow to offset our net co-op?
The grant is not really a grant. That's that extra tax, where is it on that tax thing? We pay in so much local school effort, county effort, school, state effort. That's what we have to pay the state. They're using that for the equalization of the towns, rich towns, poor towns type thing. So we put it in, but we get some back. So we may put in, 200 and get 180 back. I don't know, I'll have to look here for the real numbers. And Jeannie will be able to talk to us through all that.
Okay, so she just says, let her know when we want to do it.
I didn't bring my thing, I'm in Concord. No, on Thursday, I think it's on Thursday, I have to look. So let's put a couple dates and I'll email anybody. You can Well, that's probably an open meeting.
That's if we want to meet with her. Do we need to meet with her? Or
Yes.
I think we should.
Absolutely. Because you want to ask questions to her. What if we do this and the consequences of adding more money, what does that do to the tax rate? She puts it in her computer and she'll say, oh, it'll bring it down from 16, whatever we thought was here, 16.
1665.
You could bring it down to 1625 or something. And she'll tell us those numbers, how it happens. And keeping in mind that there'll be years that our school thing goes up, we want that nest egg. Even though it's a school causing it, but also they're helping us get it down this year, so
Yep.
it goes back and forth. So this is the year to increase that.
Yep.
Any dates? I have to check at home, I didn't bring everything.
Fine.
Brian, anything work for you, or you know you're out?
Just Friday of next week
Is out?
is out, yes.
Okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, is okay.
But you were hoping around lunchtime, kind of.
Yeah, but I can just take my lunch.
11 to 1, somewhere in there.
That would be better, but if not, I'll just manipulate my schedule. But my work schedule is at work, so if I have appointments, just scan it through the day, but I just know Friday would be a problem day for me.
Okay, and Monday's gotta be, I'm just gonna call it Monday.
Your Monday's bad with Virginia.
Yeah, I have it scheduled for 10.
Yeah, oh, the funeral, that's right. Is there anything on the flowers?
Yes, Wright Museum. A donation to the Wright Museum in lieu of flowers.
I'll put it that way. Any days out for you?
I do avoid Friday also.
Okay, so Friday's out, and I just have to look at mine, and we'll give her,
You just email her back, or email it to Rich. Rich can email it.
Yeah, why don't we just send this email to all of us? And right, can't we just forward this one email to all of our accounts?
okay, yep.
And,
Who's gonna pick the dates?
Well, she's gonna have to pick the day, we're just picking what's out.
yeah, but.
Friday's out.
Your Friday's out for you, I have to go home and look, and
Okay.
I have to bring it
Yeah,
down.
so-
I didn't think this would be here.
Let's forward this email to the three of us, and then we can communicate our schedules via this one email. And when we finally get one good day, you can email,
Yeah.
say, these are our couple days, do these work for you?
Okay,
Tell us which is best for
Yep.
you. Or tell the dates that we just can't do it. And,
Okay.
And then find out if she can conference
okay.
Brian in.
Okay, that sounds good to me. We may or may not be able to, I'm gonna do this as a meeting, because this may be a last minute thing. Well, we've always met down, we used to go down to Concord, so we would do down to Concord. We'll do the very best we can, because then we're working around her schedule to put it on there. It's not really a meeting where we have public input. They want to sit there and see us go through it. If it's too confusing talking to them, and we'll post it, but we will not, there'll be no public input on it. Because how it works is just too confusing. They're going to start interrupting. She's got how many towns she's got to talk to, and
Yep.
we can't have people interjecting questions. So. And anything we come up with, she will tell us that that's still an approximate figure. It's not officially set till she sends us an email back. So we could set it at $16 or something, and she could come back after they do the final, but her supervisor has to sign off, and it might come up, a couple pennies up or down.
All right.
Okay, I will email everybody with that. I will email you, Ed, so you know when we're meeting. And we'll go from there. With the options to her, when she can meet, to talk to us. Probably take 20 minutes.
Yep. Usually we just understand this box here,
yeah,
right? And what the impact
because
is.
all these, we know what they are. That's not, this we know, it's this, in the impact of moving this percentage
Yes.
would ultimately be.
Yes. Yes.
I can do that.
And she gets all this information from all the MS forms that are
And
sent.
we're currently at 8.5% reserve for,
That's where we start. That was our target last year. It looked like we came in above because we didn't spend that much.
right, so we're at 2.
Or we had extra unanticipated income.
That's true. That's true.
Because we can only spend what was approved. We can
Right.
bring in all the money we want.
Yeah.
We can only spend.
And then whatever's left over gets rolled into the coming year, in order to influence the overall tax rate.
Or that is correct, it's rolled over, or we can cut the tax rate because we don't anticipate spending that much money.
Right.
So,
So right now, we're sitting there going, we ran into black by $256,000 because of additional income and,
And the school going down.
yes. But we don't want to sit there and go, we want to
We
now.
have to, that's all not, like Bill said, that's not in the checking account because we still have $180,000 worth of taxes coming in.
Yes,
So effectively, we have 180 from 256, $70,000 worth of extra money someplace at the end of the year.
right.
But remember, we started, you're talking about this year,
Yes,
This year, yeah.
and we're not at the end of the year spending money.
that's right. That's exactly right. This assumes, remember we put an MS something in September predicting where we would be in our expenditures.
And I don't know, it's a good question we're gonna have to ask her, all these trust funds, is that figured out in this? I don't know. Or that's
That's
what
pulled out of that, because that's the whole idea behind the trust was that.
I would think so, but we need to double check.
Okay.
That's one of the questions.
Yeah. Well, these are the types of questions that we throw out to her, and she will explain it line by line if we wish to go over it, and we'll come up with a rate. And hopefully we'll come up with one that can make people happy.
It would be good to have that appointment before the budget meeting on Tuesday, or does it really?
Budget's next year budget. Right?
Now, look at this, using 2012 value to
Yeah.
compare,
What do you got?
bottom right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that too, I was trying to understand that, because the values to compare versus the 2012 rates.
Mm.
It's a question we're gonna have to ask her. Probably something to do with the
Richard.
Oh, assessments, numbers going up or down, I don't know, we'll have to ask her that. Okay, we're gonna get you out of here. Okay, on Tuesday, what are we discussing on Tuesday? We're working on the budget. Are we doing a road part, Brice Drive? Are we tackling anything on that?
I haven't done those photographs yet, which I.
Oh, I have a question for you. I was meant to call Eddie. For visual effects, for us that can see this visually, I'm wondering, this affects Jessica. I wonder if we could use, the big chart paper, somehow make the current plans of the development, enlarge it to be chart size. And then either make another one or have an overlay to put over it to actually show how we're changing that. So that it would be very, something be very visual to see. So people can say, all right, this is where it is, this is where it's going.
We'd have to send that out to a printing company and get it printed that way. And do we have, what? Everyone gave me a weird look. What do you do, draw it?
Yeah.
It's not to scale, you can't do that. It's just, that's pointless.
Well, if we put it on graph paper, trace currently what we on, you could theoretically,
Yeah,
but it'd be cheaper going somewhere else.
You're not gonna come to scale, it's not gonna be, it might be a good visual aid, but it's not gonna give you what you really need.
Right?
I'm a visual person. I walked it. I went down and walked where they put stakes in.
I could put it again.
They put the stakes in again, but there were some personnel issues down there that were in the construction company, so I'm not sure the stakes are still in. But there wasn't a large impact other than at the intersection.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was only
That's the crux of the whole issue, is right in that intersection.
That's where,
There's two properties on the other side of the intersection,
and that,
a little further down, yeah.
that's it, that's where all
That's
this.
where 90% of the problem is. The rest is, it's nominal. I don't want to, make light of other people's issues, but really the biggest issue is right there. But
I'd vote for going out on a Saturday morning when it's staked out or painted and looking at it.
But I think drawing that.
I like the idea of drawing an overlay with like a full paper and then like a transparent paper or a plastic and saying, here's what's going on, here's what we got, here's what it's gonna look like.
But to your point, it better be accurate if we're gonna tell people this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
The survey company might just have something like that.
We could ask the survey company if they could do something like that for a fee, is this
Well, that's a
something?
good idea, I didn't think of
Yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
they already have everything.
So they might in the village print stuff out, because I would imagine they must get called in court all the time, and that's exhibits they're gonna have to produce, so can they produce those?
Sure,
in-
I think it'd be worth the money, because everybody can then see any of the neighbors or anything else. what
And then it's
it's like.
official, then we can publish it and say,
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna do, yeah, like that.
And we could also show by using, when we get blank tracing paper or something to put over it.
Oh, sure.
We want to move this line over. Now, that plan doesn't show where the road actually is now.
No, it doesn't.
So, that is something we're going to have to, maybe with Eddie, figure that out, to have a thing where it is
They
now.
might have something.
Yeah, they might.
No,
So-
I would say, let's just start with the survey.
Okay, who's the surveyor? I'll call him.
Land.
Is it like
Yeah,
that?
you're right.
I will contact him. Okay.
I believe it's land.
Yeah, no, you're right, I believe so.
Okay.
So Tuesday night, we're gonna talk about whatever budgets we have and what we want to do in the schoolhouse.
Correct.
Yeah.
And remember, we only promised to leave those stakes up for,
They're not up anymore.
they were taken down by residents?
No, there was an issue, but I think they're gonna go back up. No?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're going back up.
Yeah.
So it's just probably, if they're not back up now, they will be back up.
We could talk about it off camera because it's really a personnel issue. Go to Monday, whatever.
They'll be back up, and we can take a look at them again and maybe do some more photographing, but I still think the biggest thing is getting land tech, and maybe give us an example.
Okay, I'll check with them, we should know that by Tuesday, whether,
Yeah.
when they can do
But I
it.
think we're gonna have to just table that for now, because we didn't get the photographs, and I'll have to check with Jeannie on that, see if she has some good photographs that we can use, and see if we get some exhibits, and it's just, nothing's gonna happen between now and the spring anyway, you know, and we have to budget what we're gonna do.
Right,
So you're not gonna talk to land.
I will call
No,
them.
well, I think we should get that exhibit.
Then the next follow-up question would be, what do they need from us if we want to relocate it? In other words, they're gonna show us where it exists today.
If they can show us where the
If
road
they
is.
can, but they can, because they plotted it all. But then the next question is, okay, how can we illustrate where we want to move it? What do we have to give them so they can show us two things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
today and tomorrow?
Well, even if we brought a blank piece of paper and put it over the top, and we could see visually, if we moved it, 8 feet in, where it's gonna go roughly. We would be exactly, it
If
would
it's to
be,
scale.
Yeah, if we have something to scale, say every inch is a foot,
Yeah,
then
we
we'll
can
be
do it.
able to say,
Yep.
you're going in this far.
We only need the road, right? The right of way.
Yeah, that's all, that's
We don't
what it
need the
says. This isn't us trying to make a bigger issue, we're trying to get the road in and get it off people's land.
My point is, we don't need all the lots, right? We
Right,
just need
right,
just the
right.
road, just.
well, we need where the front lines are.
Yes, that's all.
Yeah, we need all those pins and where those temporary markers are.
But not the back ones.
No,
No, just the front.
no, we don't need that.
Okay,
All right.
we'll see, we'll know by Tuesday whether they can do
Yeah.
that and when they would
I
have
think it'd
that.
be helpful and for points of discussion with everybody that's being affected by it.
Right.
It's the right way to go.
Okay, need anything else? Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.